shook my suspend my mistake. For dinner tonight, I'm just finishing up making some fried rice. Also, I wanted to show you this. I have a new feature in my van. Watch.
Wow!
I finally have running water, which has been so incredible because I used to use those like big blue jugs that hold a few liters, and I was having to refill that every 2 days. I've had this water going for about 2 weeks now, running in my tap. It's been honestly a game changer. So the first time I filled my tanks, I filled it to about half, and it lasted me about 9 to 10 days. The reason that I've not had running water in here until now is because last year when I was finishing up my van build, my water system and plumbing is the last thing that I did. Like, I remember I finished it in November and it was like -20 outside. It was like so hard to do anything because our hands were just like freezing cold, and it was just like so difficult. And then you have to come inside, you have to remove your snow boots, and then your feet are freezing, and then you can only work for 5 minutes, and then we had to go in the house and warm up for another few minutes. It was just like, we really did try to aim to get my van build done in the summer, but it was just not possible, and it took us till November. And so by the time it was time to go to Vancouver Island and start living in the van for the winter, my water system had not been tested yet because it was in the negatives outside, so it was just not possible. I went the whole Vancouver Island trip using that water jug with the little pump on top, refilling that every 2 days. Even though Vancouver Island is like warm in the winter, it's like 6 degrees. We didn't test the running water because we were like, we never got to test it back in Alberta. So if there was a leak on the island, we didn't bring any of the necessary tools or equipment with us to be able to fix that leak. So we just didn't want to risk a leak on that trip. But now that I'm back and the temperatures are warmer, I finally got around to testing my water system, and everything is fine. Like, everything went fine. No issues with the water system at all. Yeah, I'm just really happy to have running water in here now. Like, it makes everything so much easier. It feels like a luxury. God, sometimes I am so dumb with the mathematics. I tried to make double servings of rice so that I could have leftovers for tomorrow, and that's specifically why I used the large pot. And then I'm like, why is the portion so small? And I realized I used just a single serving. This is what we got going on. It's basmati rice with frozen mixed vegetables. So we got corn, we got peas, we got green beans, and some edamame. In the video I have transforming my van for spring, I bought this like stupid bug screen thing from Amazon, and it was such a disaster because basically the bug screen was like way too thick. So when I put it, like attached it onto my side doors, there was no way for my side doors to close with the bug screen on. And I really want to be able to, it gets so hot in my van, I really want to be able to keep my side doors open this summer and allow a breeze to come in. But the mosquitoes here, we have had so much rain this June, and it has made like the mosquitoes like absolutely horrible. Like, this is like the worst I ever remember them being. So it's like every time I open my doors, the mosquitoes just come in. So I've been keeping an eye out for where can I buy bug screens, man. I checked Canadian Tire, I checked Princess Auto, I checked Home Depot, I checked Walmart. Like, no one had what I was looking for until I went to IKEA to look for a mattress, but I'll get into that next. And I saw uh, exactly what I'm looking for at IKEA. I just happened to walk by it, so it was perfect. I actually don't think they're intended to be bug screens. I think it's just like flowy curtains that you can add to like a layer of like behind some curtains that you already have. I'm thinking I can attach this to my doors, and it's so thin. It shouldn't cause any issues. I should be able to attach it with little strips of Velcro, and we'll just see how it goes. And if it doesn't work, it was only $8.99. Just this really thin mesh-like material, but it's like absolutely perfect. It's exactly what I need. I'm gonna be getting a new mattress in my van. This one, it's like the cheapest, most low quality foam that I could have got. I got it from a mattress store, but it's for like people who go camping in an RV and they need a foam mattress, but they're not sleeping on it full time. I've been sleeping on mine 24/7 full time. So I think that's why the quality has gotten so bad. Like basically in the middle where I sleep, there's like a big depression and my body is just unsupported and I'm sleeping on it and the mattress is like all tilted to one side. Yesterday, I actually went to IKEA to buy a new mattress. There's a van life group on Facebook and a lot of people recommend it, and it has pretty good reviews. So I got a medium firm mattress. I have to just cut a few inches off to make it the correct size that I need to fit in here, and then I'm gonna get to test it out. My other option was to go to a foam store and get a custom cut piece of firm foam and a custom cut latex topper, and get them both sewn into a little cover to create my own custom mattress. However, that is $600 more expensive than just getting the IKEA mattress. So I went with the IKEA one, obviously. Oh! So I want to talk about this book that I recently just finished. It's a romance, which I don't usually read, but hear me out. I've been reading like just really like dense, heavy books, like sci-fis which haven't been good, fantasies which haven't been good, and I just really wanted something lighthearted to read. I don't know, maybe I need to just like lay off. I need to lay off the heavy books for a bit. I felt so strongly that I wanted to read this book in specific. It's called Into the Blue by Brodie. I went to the bookstore and I bought this with my own money. I think it was like $23, so like not too bad. Anyway, I wanted to talk about this book because I did give it 5 stars, and I am in a story graph reading what is called buddy read with a few other people for this book, and most of the people in the buddy read gave it 4 to 5 stars as well, and it has really good reviews too. And I read this book like crazy. As soon as I started reading it, I could just not put it down, and I finished it in like 10 days, which is really good for me recently because, you know, back in the day, 2 years ago, I think, I read 40 books in a year, which was my record. I had never read that many books before. And since then I've slowed down a lot. I don't know, like I'm just like reading slower. And I'm just not able to finish as many books. Like my goal for this year is only 24 books, which is only 2 books a month. And I think it's because I keep DNFing books. Like, I start reading a book and I'm like, this sucks. And I get halfway through the book and I stop reading it. And obviously those books don't count towards my reading goal because they're not finished. So I think that's what's hindering me, is I'm just not pushing through books that I don't like. But at the same time, it's like life is too short to read books that we hate. So it's like, if I am seriously not liking a book, I'm not going to force myself to finish it. The two main characters are AJ and Noah. Noah comes from a family of actors, and he doesn't want to be an actor, so he kind of lives a little bit of a normal life. One day, Noah is visiting his hometown, and AJ's working at this like movie rental store, and Noah comes in because he gets hired. And anyway, they become friends and they fall for each other. And I will spoil this next part because it's literally on the back of the book. But when this happened in the book, I was like so shocked. I was like, how dare he? They get close, they become friends, they fall for each other, and then Noah disappears. He leaves and goes to the other side of the country without telling AJ goodbye, without saying anything. He just leaves. And up until that point, Noah's aunt had been teaching AJ and Noah how to have a really strong connection while acting. She was basically giving them free acting lessons every day because she saw something in both of them. AJ and Noah were able to have such a strong connection through acting that they became like very intertwined with each other's thoughts and feelings, like on an everyday level, but then especially while acting. And the kind of acting that they specialized in is improv. At the beginning of the book, I didn't find the writing that clear. You kind of get used to the writing style as you go along, but I think there are some sentences in the book which are just a little bit unclear, and they were difficult for me to understand. Along with, there's so many pop culture references in the book, I didn't understand half of them. The whole book is about how Noah left her after they developed feelings for each other. 7 years goes by, he pops back into her life like nothing happened. And then they have to star in a TV show together, which is called Into the Blue. And then the rest of the book is just like them weaving in and out of each other's lives, because they obviously still love each other. They obviously still feel things for each other. They're like super attracted to one another. Like the lust is like off the charts. And they won't let themselves be together. And like the reason why Noah left 7 years ago is like this whole big thing, and becomes like really entwined into the rest of the story. Noah wants AJ to act because he sees a lot of potential in her, but she doesn't want to act. She just wants to stay behind the camera. So it's like AJ's trying to keep herself in this bubble, whereas Noah knows what she's capable of and is trying to bring her out of that bubble. Meanwhile, there's this thing that happened between them 7 years ago that they're both not talking about, and they go half the book without even like discussing it. And then once they do discuss it, they want each other, but they won't let themselves be together. We get to see how much their lives have changed since they last were together, but how much their feelings for each other are still the same. I think people can have sexual chemistry, but they don't have romantic chemistry. And still, after finishing the book, I understand that they had like a lot of sexual chemistry, but they didn't even really go on any dates. They didn't even really do anything with each other besides work and like make money and have sex. So I personally kind of failed to see the romance between them. These characters are both far from perfect in their own way. Like, especially AJ says some really hurtful, nasty things towards Noah. Noah is constantly like reappearing into AJ's life like nothing happened, like nothing is wrong between them, just pretending that everything is fine, which like really pissed me off when reading. Like, he tends to lead her on a lot through the book, and AJ will close herself down and be like, this guy doesn't want me, so I need to protect myself. And he just keeps popping up back into her life every few years. It was just like, it felt really controlling and like he was leading her on a lot. No relationship in real life is perfect, and their relationship is far from perfect, but that's what makes the book feel so real and believable. And I'm glad I was able to support this piece of art with my own money, because I don't usually do that. I usually get books from the library for free. So I am glad that I bought this and that I got the chance to read it. The book that I'm now currently reading, gosh, I started this days ago and I'm only on page 75, but I'm just like, my brain has just not been in a reading mood. I don't know if anyone else goes through this on their moon time, but sometimes, maybe like twice a year, I get what I call moon time obsessions, where it's like my brain will find something. It's usually like a movie or people in specific, and my brain will just like latch onto it and just become obsessed for like a few days, and it's just like I can't move on from it. And so right now I'm just experiencing a moon time obsession, and my brain is just so like latched onto and like fixated on this thing right now, and I just cannot move past it. And I just want to spend all of my free time looking at that stuff, and so I can't even like bring myself to read, but I really need to force myself to read, because there's some good books I want to get to, but I can't get to them if I don't finish this one. But this book is called The Killing Spell by Shay, Kauwe, and it's I would call it like a light fantasy book. It has to do with magic in the form of language. So basically, Hawaii had a flood, and all of the Hawaiian residents moved to Los Angeles, where they're kind of separated by like different clans. There's only a few regulated languages that are allowed to be used for magical purposes. So the main character is Hawaiian, and she's basically a smith, so she can make her own spells in the Hawaiian language. There's a lot of like political discussions, which I find a bit boring and confusing, but this guy on the language board who is trying to get Tagalog nominated to become a magical language, he got murdered, and they hired the main character because she's like a Hawaiian smith, and she understands like how to piece together Hawaiian words and phrases to make spells. They hired her to figure out this guy's murder, because there was like a voice recording and he was murdered with a Hawaiian spell. So that's what's happening so far. I think it's really well written, and the beginning was really strong. There's like a lot of action in the beginning, but right now it's kind of slowed down, more political talk, like meetings. I'm like a little bit bored, so I just haven't felt like reading this recently. It's a bit dark and rainy right now, but that reminds me of a story I have from earlier this week, because there was actually the first thunderstorm of the year this week, and I was going to film the process, surviving my first, not surviving, but you know, going through the first thunderstorm in my van. The thunder and lightning just kept getting closer and closer, and I began to wonder, like, am I actually safe being in here? Because obviously when you are in a car with a metal roof, you're safe because of the Faraday cage effect, okay? It's basically when lightning hits the metal roof, it travels around the metal body of the vehicle, and as long as you are inside not touching anything metal, you will be fine. The electricity will just go through the metal and down into the ground without touching you inside of the vehicle. And so I was reassuring myself as the thunder and lightning was coming closer to me. I was like, you know what? I'm fine in here because I'm in a metal vehicle. And then I was like, wait, my roof is not even metal. My roof is made of fiberglass because my van's like built without a top, and then someone put a fiberglass roof on top of it to make it a high extended roof van. And then I looked up, is fiberglass roof safe in lightning? No, it's not. Basically, the lightning will shatter the fiberglass, and if you're inside, you're gonna die. And that's how I learned that my van is not safe in thunderstorms. Like, what the hell am I supposed to do? Maybe it sounds ridiculous, but every single time there's a thunderstorm with lightning, am I supposed to get out of my van and like go into a grocery store until the storm ends or something? Because you know the chances of being struck by lightning are really small. My cousin was struck by lightning last year. So do you think I'm gonna take any chances with being struck by lightning now that that has happened within my family? It seems a lot more likely to happen when you personally know someone that it has happened to. So it's just pretty inconvenient to be living in a van that doesn't provide me any safety during adverse weather. I'm like, what if it's the middle of the night and I'm camping somewhere and there's a thunder and lightning storm? It's hailing now. It's the middle of the night and everything is closed. I'm not around any businesses. What am I supposed to do in my van when my van does not keep me safe from lightning? Like, I feel like I've always found thunderstorms very like fun and exciting, and now it is like making me so anxious because I've learned that my home cannot even protect me. Hey, so I want to talk about The Killing Spell, which I just finished a few hours ago while it's still fresh in my mind. Man, it was such a short book, but it took me so long to read. Like, I think it took me like 2 weeks, like almost 2 weeks to read it. Like, I think 12 or 13 days, which is like, as I explained, I've been reading really slowly and just struggling to keep interest in the books that I'm reading. Like, I'll begin a book and I'll really like it, but then I just read so slow, I kind of like lose interest in the book because if I read it too slow, you know. To be honest, I was confused throughout the entire book. Like, the language magic system to me did not make sense, and it wasn't ever really explained. Like, it seemed like every person in the main character's family, they had a different way that they used their magic for some reason. But then, yeah, there was just like no real like rules as to what the magic can do. It was kind of just like the magic can do anything and everything. Like, there was one point in the book where the main character was talking to like this lady on the board, and she opened up like a portal in the wall of her house and she could see this guy through the portal. It's like, what the heck? Her siblings can like speak to her in her mind and she can reply, but she can only do it with them. In the beginning of the book, I said that it was well written, but as the book went along, I realized it's not really well written. It's just easy to read. Like, it's very quick and easy to read. But the author writes in a way where she kind of skips details. Like, there's this part in the end where she's like in this room, and then she's not in the room anymore, and then all of a sudden she's in this meeting room, and then all of a sudden they're not in the meeting room, and then all of a sudden they're outside, and all of a sudden she was alone with these two guys, and then when they step outside, there's all of a sudden all these people outside, and just like little pieces of the plot, like how it jumps from one thing to the next without any filler details. It was just kind of like all of a sudden there's like a mass of people outside having a war with each other when 5 minutes ago there was nobody there. So I give it like a 3.25 out of 5. Slightly more than a 3 because I liked it more than the other books I rated 3 stars recently, so I bump it up to a 3.25.